Good morning.
Good afternoon.
Good evening. Welcome to being here.
Yes.
I'm Ariel.
And I'm Shia. And we've been engaged in this relationship for about 40 years, and give or take, and give. And like so many of us think that we're going to miss out on something if we don't do those things we think are important for us to do.
Or people in a relationship say, oh, maybe there's somebody better out there.
Oh, absolutely. There's always somebody better out there until you get them.
Yeah, true. Absolutely.
And then there's always somebody else that's going to be better out there. That's another story.
Today's episode is relief of missing out.
You've heard of FOMO, the fear of missing out?
Wow. Now we have the relief of letting yourself be wherever you are and however you are. And we have a couple of guests with us today. We were chatting a little before starting this recording. And I said, wow, is this the episode I needed today? Because I have a lot of projects, midway book project, seminars, updating the website, schedule for 2024, all sorts of things that are in the midst. And I've been occasionally talking to myself in the evening that I'm not
doing enough.
And
did you hear an echo there?
And I shout out to our friends Susan and Michelle. I was speaking to Susan today, and she's like, "What you up to?" And I started telling her the things I was up to, and had to laugh at myself once again, because my idea of what I'm accomplishing and the reality are two very, very different things.
Mm-hmm. Well, look, what if there's nothing to accomplish?
Yes.
See, we as a society, whether you live in Europe or here,
or in Hong Kong,
or
anywhere else
on the planet, have been raised in a culture where this isn't it and something else will be it. Like when you do that or get there or have that, when you were a kid, you saw people going to school and you were small and you said, oh man, life will begin when I get to go to school like the bigger kids. And then you get to go to school and you're saying, oh, what did I want this for? And then you say, well, okay, when I graduate, when I get into high school, when I get a relationship, when I get married, when I get a job, when I have children, when I get a house, when I get a car, always something off in the future that's going to be better than what you got.
I actually think things got pretty challenging for people post-COVID. Now we're, down the line, but people often said, oh man, when COVID's over and I can get back to going out or being with friends, then things will be better. It's not better. It's just different. And it's so easy to think something will make you happy in the future. And then when you get it, it doesn't take care of that happiness quotient.
Always when you have this idea that the circumstances of your life determine your level of satisfaction. So if you think that when the circumstances are right, and get everything lined up, then you'll be satisfied. Well, good luck. Because when you do get all those things together, you'll discover that you're no happier than you are right now, unless you're happier than you are right now. But how could you be happier than you are right now? See, this is where your life is taking place. This current moment is where your life is taking place, not when you got somewhere else. Several years ago, Ariel and I had just been married. We went and lived in a meditation center, and we were on vacation from the meditation center for a few days. And we went into St. Moritz, Switzerland, and we rented a condo there at the foothills of this mountain. And we looked up at the mountain and we said, we should try climbing that mountain.
Yeah.
So we spent the whole day laboring up to the top of the mountain. And we got there. And guess what?
It was only a foothill. It wasn't the real mountain. The real mountain was behind what we could see from the base level in the valley.
Well,
that was certainly relief of missing out.
That's right.
I was so happy we did not go further. But I have to say, I've really, really been enjoying our Zoom seminars lately. The Living Made Easy, the weekend seminars, they have been so profound, and everybody has a front row seat, and we get to see people's faces bloom or see when they have a question. And, somebody can be talking about a success at work, and we can, any of us can go, oh, I haven't had a successful work. Right. Or we can hear it fully, embrace what's being said, as opposed to flip into comparison.
I was going to say, do you mean living your life without comparing yourself to how other people are doing, especially your siblings?
Yes. That is really the master class of living, when you can enjoy, for instance, the successes of the people you love, particularly siblings, family members, cousins, without having to put yourself on a scale of better or worse, which is normal, and it's change. In transformation, it's win-win. Let's take our first guest.
Please.
All right. Christina, welcome to being here. Please tell people where you're zooming in from.
Hi, this is Christina from Bonn, Germany. I'm so great to be here with you guys and everyone's listening. When I read this topic, I had this whole conversation started. Do I do this? And yes, I do this. I have this fear of missing out. And I realized I'm not having it in one particular situation. I have it in all sorts of. For instance, do I miss out if I have a baby, or do I miss out if I not have a baby? Do I miss out having enough friends or not having enough friends? And is everyone else having more friends than I have? And it's really about this being enough or having enough, and also, like you said, comparing to others. Because when I have a situation where I'm really engaged in, and I fall into the moment of being here, it's so easy to just be there and stay present. And it's not about this conversation, do I miss out? Because I love doing, for instance, teaching theater or teaching. It's so interesting. I've never thought about that. It's a thought in everywhere when I start listening to this thought, and it's not just a particular thing.
Oh, that is so, so wonderful. Because most people identify repetitive ways of talking to ourselves or being afraid of missing something, for instance. We generally identify it in one area. How wonderful you can see it's like a pair of glasses, and it's global, and you may be more aware of it in one area, but it's universal when you're in the midst of it.
Well, it's really interesting, this whole idea that you could possibly miss out on your life, in that you can't be anywhere in this moment other than where you are. You couldn't be doing anything else in this moment other than what you're doing. That's, in truth, reality. If you look and see in the current moment of your life, this is everybody who's listening to this podcast, if you look and see, where else could you be but where you are? Now, you may have the fantasy you could be somewhere else, but in this moment of now, the only way that you could be is exactly as you are. So wait a second. How can you miss out on anything? You're always there wherever you are.
That's so true.
So you right now have identified and are able to experience the relaxation around the fear of missing out when you're fully engaged. So when you're teaching your class, for instance, my question is, have you ever considered the possibility of letting yourself release that fear of missing out when you are non-directed? For instance, sometimes, particularly after a weekend seminar, I designate a day, Kane's day off. And it's really tough for me not to want to schedule a bunch of stuff in. So when I get up in the morning and I don't have specific things that I've slated either mentally or in my schedule to do, can I let myself relax into the moment when I don't have a driving timeline?
Oh, wow. That's so great because, yes, so spot on. It's really challenging for me if I'm not having a directed or scheduled timeline. I can so see myself going into that conversation, starting to listen, and it gets stronger once I start listening to it. It's for me, it's easier when I have a schedule and I know what comes to put that conversation like a radio show behind, I don't have to listen to it. It's there, but I don't have to listen to it. But once I'm not doing anything or not having anything planned, it really gets loud.
Yeah,
I'm noticing something.
Yeah.
I'm noticing that I'm a little bit excluded from this conversation. I find that. And then I wonder how your relationship is going. If you're not listening to me, are you listening to him?
Oh, wow. Thanks for pointing that out. Yeah, I have been noticing that I stopped listening to Sven. Yeah.
Because I was on a roll. I don't exactly recall exactly where it was at this moment, but I had something else that I was going to follow up with, but there was a quick jumping in and I let it go by because it doesn't really matter. I mean, this thing is working perfectly, so it doesn't, but I noticed that it wasn't, we're going somewhere. So in the going somewhere, are almost in competition with each other to speak. And I'm not I'm not in competition. It's like, okay, I'll let that go by. But I'm noticing a phenomena, a way of relating that I believe is indicative of these three people that are here in this Zoom call: you, myself, and Christina. So I have the feeling there is definitely a going somewhere from an idea of what a better Christina would be.
Yes.
So we're going somewhere all the time. There's no relaxation in it because you might miss out.
Yeah, so true.
We all have models of what the perfect life would look like. Whether, I was looking at my relationship to my attractiveness to women. What attracts me about a woman? And I realized that most of it was put together by a child 70 years ago, who I was as a 10-year-old or a 12-year-old. So 70 years ago, I was 12. I had an idea what the perfect woman looked like. More like a perfect girl, I guess, because when you're 12, but interestingly enough, that idea of what's important, what is attractive, what is good looking, that was put together by you as a child. What's important in life, whether to have a child or not. That was an interesting comment you made, because you have to be thinking about that, as though if you don't have a child, how can you have a life?
You know,
Mm.
interesting. I know the people who want children. They have them.
Mm.
I know the people who say they want children
Because they say they want
children,
children.
but I can. There are so many people who are pregnant, have gotten pregnant, have children, and I see that there's a whole host of other people who tend to have a big conversation with themselves that they might not be doing their life right because they don't have a child or don't have a child yet. And that really is that fear of missing out thing. But you can see what you want by how you've constructed your life. And if you're not pregnant and you don't have a child, you don't currently want one.
Yeah, in this moment, it's not what you want, because you have exactly what you want in the current moment, really. Now, of course, you have an idea of what you would have if you could have that you don't have, but you have what you want right now because it's what you've got.
Mm.
You know, when you embrace what you have, there is that relief. It's like, here I am. And you can actually see out the window and see what the weather is like. You can look at your home apartment where you live and appreciate where you are rather than thinking more.
Well, when I remodel my kitchen, then I'll be happy.
Wow, this is so great. Thanks, you guys. Phew.
Nice to see you light up.
Yes.
Oh, and by the way, welcome to the Being Here team. I know that you've signed on to support guests like yourself and be a part of the volunteers who help make this a reality. And we are really happy to have you.
Yes, we are.
Thank you. I'm so happy that I could join. And yeah, I'm really excited about creating something really awesome with you guys.
I want to answer to your question. You have plenty of friends. Most of us have plenty of friends. If you want to experience friendship, you invest in the ones you have, and it rather than plan for the ones you don't.
Yes. Yes. Thank you.
Oh, thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Hey, it's time for the listener feedback spotlight.
It's where we get to hear from people in this amazing listenership and transformation community talking about what's happening in their lives.
Hi, my name is Bianca from Menden in Germany, and just listening to the podcast is smoothing my day. Thank you so much, Ariel and Shaya.
Do you want to have well-being with consistency? Connect with people all over the world from the comfort of your own home at Ariel and Shire's lively interactive Living Made Easy virtual seminars. Join any of their 2-hour online events or take a deep dive into the magic of being you at a virtual weekend seminar. Come on, let's connect. Find out more and register at transformationmadeeasy.com.
Our next Living Made Easy seminars, the 2-hour virtual events, are this upcoming Saturday and Monday.
That's December 2nd and December 4th.
And also the Tuesday the 5th. So we have 3 of them upcoming, and you are invited. You can find out about them at transformationmadeeasy.com. Also, the beginning of the year, New Beginnings, is our first virtual weekend seminar of 2024 on January 6th and 7th.
And it's not about making New Year's resolutions. It's about discovering how to enjoy your life.
If you haven't seen our 2024 calendars, they're really beautiful and they bring a shot of being here every day throughout the year. And you can find out those also on our website. If you're not yet on our newsletter, we really suggest it. It's fun. There are inspiring blogs, there's videos, there's lots of content just to keep you connected to yourself throughout the year. Again, transformationmadeeasy.com.
You know, there is a few spaces in Costa Rica for 2024. That's January, mid to late January. People can come for 1 or 2 weeks to a very gorgeous location that we've found in Costa Rica. And there is a prerequisite that you attend a seminar, a weekend seminar with us in this current year.
So if you've come to a weekend seminar sometime in 2023, you are welcome. If you realize right now that you would like to come, if you've not attended a weekend seminar, the New Beginnings virtual seminar on January 6th and 7th would be your prerequisite.
Yes.
Let's take our next guest.
Yes.
Cheryl, welcome to being here. And where are you zooming in from?
Hi there, Erin Shaya. Nice to be here. I'm Cheryl. I'm zooming in from Hong Kong. Yeah, it's great to be here. You were kind of giving promos for the upcoming seminars or regular seminars, and for me, I'm so glad we have Zoom because I can connect in and join a few times a week regularly, and sometimes the sessions the Living Made Easy Saturday sessions are on my Saturday evenings, when it's usually Saturday mornings or Saturday afternoons in Europe, Saturday mornings in the US. And sometimes I have the thought, I should be out on a Saturday night. And I just really appreciate that I can see that being here with you all enriches my life so much more and also creates new possibilities. Thank you. So I love it.
From time to time, Shai and I talk about the miracle of Zoom and how, as you know, and maybe many of our listeners know, we used to do a seminar on Monday evenings. Every week we were in this part of the woods in New York City. And therefore, we had no Saturday seminars. We had one Tuesday evening, usually via phone, for the European community. And after COVID hit and we created the Zoom seminars, one of the things we often talk to each other about is how grateful we are to be able to see you twice a week as opposed to once or twice a year.
Yeah, thank you. I just wouldn't say got goosebumps, but I definitely felt a warmth as you were saying that. Thank you. Thanks.
I think your example was brilliant. The idea that you should be out on Friday night or Saturday night, like a better you would be, and then fill in the blank. You'd be out being more social.
Well, you'd be conforming to what the cultural dynamic is, or what most people think. There was a song when I was a kid. Saturday night is the loneliest night of the week. Because you're supposed to be out dating.
Yeah. Yes.
That's what we were talking with Christina about also. Like, can you give yourself a break from that push to go out and
Well,
prove to yourself that you're
conform to the social dictate that was put down years and years earlier when you were a child. You got the idea that when you grew up, you would be fill in the blank.
Mm.
And so we follow those dreams.
Yeah, I can see that. And it's funny, on one hand, I want to talk about dating, but then on the other hand, this conforming that you're talking about is in my current job, I feel my day job. I feel it was temporary when I took it on. Thought I would only be there for 6 months, and it's turned into almost 5 years. And I'm a little burnt out, but also I feel like I'm conforming, and I'm putting myself in a box, or I'm letting myself stay in a box.
Well, here's the thing, my dear.
Yeah.
Your judgments about what you should be doing or how long you should have stayed in this job are part of the problem, because it's a push-pull. It's almost as though you're driving down the road with one foot on the brake. You're not fully engaged in the job, because then it would give you energy. Because you see, right now, you're bumping into your resistance to being where you are because you have a thought that you should be moving on by now. It was only a temporary job. Well, you know something? My relationship with Ariel was only a temporary thing. It was a one-night stand. How is this possible 40 years later?
well, even the way you said, "Oh, my day job,"
Yes,
there was a pejorative. It was like almost dismissive, saying it in a negative.
like if you really could do what you want, you wouldn't be doing that.
You'd be
But
doing
it's
your
what you do for
sound
money.
meditation all the time, not your quote day job. And you're likely now in the I've missed out on other job opportunities.
Well, when you segment your life that way, rather than realize that everything is your life in this moment, whether it's being at the job you go to during the day, or whether it's the job you have when you do your sound meditations, see, it all has to do with, it doesn't matter what you do. This morning, I cleaned a sink in our basement, and it was exquisite to get it clean. It's like, oh, I have to do this. I looked and it needed cleaning, so I cleaned it.
And it's something we've been living with for some time. It's actually a station where Shaya dyes materials for tying fishing flies, which he hasn't done for some time. And whilst he's entertaining the possibility of creating whole new flies, he went and actually looked and saw that area was not, it was devoid of well-being.
So I brought some attention to it and made it feel good again.
Yeah, I like that, and I like the analogy of one foot on the brake and one foot on the gas. You guys have said that before, but for some reason I get this strong feeling. I mean, I can see how I do that.
Well, it's probably going to be the potential for that's going to be getting stronger in that. You mentioned at a recent Living Made Easy seminar that you feel like you may have had your arc, your time is done in Hong Kong. You may be looking to come back, I'm believing, to the States, or maybe go back to Japan. I don't know. But what you're describing is almost a typical reaction when a person gets ready to do something else. They want to make where they are be miserable or wrong so they won't miss it when they're gone.
Although they usually end up missing it because the new place they go to becomes this isn't it. either. And the old place, in retrospect, seems so much nicer.
I remember toward the end of my parents' life, we flew them to New York and set up a hotel for them, and they had that time. And my mom and they went to their favorite, which was the Museum of Modern Art. And every place my mom went, it was like, oh, yes, this has been wonderful. We've always enjoyed this. And she was very upfront. This is the last time we'll ever come here. And then when we arranged for a time at the beach for them at some point, and my dad had pretty strong dementia at that point, she's like, this will be our last time at the beach. and so she really allowed herself to like see the ocean, see the large rock formations, to really be there, go to the favorite chowder place, like to celebrate it, because they weren't going to have the capacity to come again. And the thing is, you may not have the capacity, you may have the capacity to come again, but you may not want to. So you may as well celebrate it while you're there.
Yeah, I like that.
Well,
because
if you can't celebrate where you are, it doesn't bode well for your future. Because then wherever you are won't be it either. See, the truth of the matter is, we've got very little control over where we can be in this current moment. See, I have to be here because this is where I am. So I might as well be here totally. But people think, well, I don't really have to be here. Well, if you look, you'll see that you are where you're supposed to be, because it's where you are. And you can't get away from that.
We were on a Zoom meeting with a group of people the other day, and Shaya modified a rather famous quote. The famous quote is, plan like you're going to live forever and live like you're going to die tomorrow. So what Shaya said is, plan like you're going to live forever and live like you're going to die today. And one of the things that happened was, one of the people on the seminar went, oh my God, I filled in with tomorrow. I know that quote. When you said today, I thought, oh, no, I have more time. And he was laughing at himself, because we tend to want to put things off, saying, and truthfully, I've often gone, well,
I can do it tomorrow.
If I ever want to go to Hong Kong, I can go visit Cheryl. She could show me around. Well, you may not be there a whole lot longer.
Yeah. Thanks. I love this. I can. I feel a difference already, and I can see the times that I have thought I should be looking for a job right now, even just recently, or I should be, and I really don't enjoy when I'm in that thought process, because I can feel myself thinking. But and I guess that's why I liked the analogy of the foot on the brake and on the gas pedal at the same time, because I'm thinking I should, but I'm not really. And it's very interesting, but I didn't quite realize it until I didn't quite grasp that it feels more real now, if that makes sense.
Yes, and then there's like relief at being where you are rather than trying where you think you should be.
Yes. Yeah. I can. It makes a difference, even though I'm not at work at the moment. But I can feel that a new way of looking at work.
And FYI, for your information, we are not anti-goals. I was speaking to a friend of ours last night, and her father has entered a phase of his life where he's going into hospice, but his mental outlook has changed. He's become somewhat combative. And so it's a lot of talking to the family and, trying to be supportive And she's in the midst of taking classes so that she can get her master's in education. And she wrote to me, or she told me about the class she was taking that night. Now, she can either be studying to get her master's, or I said to her, why not really embrace this information tonight like a shower, like pull you into where you are, and you'll have relief. It'll be like a saving grace. You might really learn this stuff, not for someday, but for today, because it's what you're doing, rather than worrying about how it will go with your father tonight, tomorrow, next week.
Yeah. I like it. I also feel like I've just slowed down some as well. It just feels good.
And it feels good being here too.
Yes.
Thank you, guys. Thank you. I don't know, I love transformation. and yeah, I love life.
And I love your unreasonability. I mean, here we are. I know we record this, and we release it on Wednesdays. So it's sometime we're recording, it's a little afternoon our time. So here you are, it's in the morning now, it's 12:30 at night. And I love that you give yourself this and give it to us as well.
You give yourself permission to be outrageous, to be unreasonable with yourself. And that's where the magic resides, not in your reasonable mind, but in looking and seeing what you want and going for it like it's your idea.
Yeah, I like that. I just got goosebumps. Thank you. Yeah, I love it. Thank you.
Thank you so much. If you feel to, share this with your friends. It's so much fun when people include you, and it's fun to include other people.
And also, when you or your friends discover that there are other possibilities outside the known that could have a profound effect on your experience of well-being and satisfaction.
You know, recently, Shai asked a number of folks, what do you remember about the person who first invited you to a transformational seminar or introduced you to the podcast? And we got an email back from a lady whose now husband, they were dating at the time, they had met each other online. He invited her to one of our seminars, and she was shocked at how open people were and this whole new possibility. She said now 13 years later, she couldn't have imagined the life she has. Feel free to deliver that gift to people you know. It's always quite a wonderful thing. Next week's podcast.
A cat is not a dog.
We know that. All right. We'll be back next week.
So come on back.
And don't miss
being here.